Okay, we'll talk a little bit about the input, and we'll also talk about the output to, starting with nutrition. And again, I said at the outset that a lot of this you probably already know, but then there's no harm in being reminded about it. So if you're gone off a little bit off track, you might be able to bring yourself back on. So we've heard for a long time that maintaining a 5-a-day habit is really beneficial for our health. Interestingly, I was away a fortnight ago in England, and a new study from London City University, where they were doing a study with 75,000 people, they have changed their opinions or their conclusion on the matter, and they think that people should be eating 7 a day, which sounds a huge amount. And actually, that's in Australia, they've always advocated seven a day. I'm reading about that recently as well. But even maintaining 5 a day, the fruit and veg, there's the obvious advantages to it. One would be, it's high in fibre, essential minerals, vitamins. With the citrus fruits, you have your vitamin C, and the greens, you have your iron being two of the main ones. Some of the other foods, whether they're fruits or vegetables, will be very high in antioxidants. And all of these are hugely beneficial to keeping us ticking over effectively and well. Now, you might be. I don't know whether all of you would engage rigidly in a 5 a day, and indeed it might seem a bit daunting, when you look at five fruit and veg. And then the question is, well, what is a 5-a-day habit? What would it look like? So I can imagine somebody getting up in the morning, if they were in the 5-a-day regime, and maybe having freshly squeezed orange juice or grapefruit juice, as I have in the morning times. The time needed to get that ready is actually less than 2 minutes, and I did actually time it this morning before I came here, so it's not a great deal of time. If you're having your cereal or your porridge, you might choose to put some dried fruit onto that as well. That could be any type of dried fruits, raisins, currants, goji berries, or you might go for blueberries. And a portion of that would be 2 large tablespoonfuls. So before even you've left the house in the morning time, you've managed 2. If you got to your tea time break in the morning and you chose to have an apple or an orange, you're at 3. If it was too much for you to eat the whole apple or the whole orange, you could split it between lunchtime and break time. You could eat the other half there, and you're at 3. You could actually, if you were having sandwiches or something, and if you were making them yourselves, you could put 2 tomatoes in, which would be another portion. And that would set you up for the evening, whereby if you picked 2 of your favourite vegetables and included those in your meal, you will have exceeded the 5 a day. And the portion in relation to vegetables would be 2 of those serving spoons. That's considered a portion. So it's not that daunting really when you break it down like that, and it's manageable to be able to engage in a 5-a-day regime. And probably if you want to go the way of the Australians, we could probably stretch ourselves to 7. Water, and drinking plenty of water. Again, nothing new in this. I was interested to learn that over 50% of our bodies are composed of water. It's a huge percentage. Also, if a human being is deprived of water completely, they'll do very well to get to 5 days without any water. As regards food, a human being can go anything up to 3 weeks and a little bit beyond without any food intake. But water is absolutely essential to us. It hydrates the body. It can be good for your skin. I was reading recently that it increases brain power. There's some new studies that would suggest that water can increase brain power. It can also, for people dieting, drinking water can create a sense of being full and help them to eat a little bit less. And the actual quantities then, Anybody know what the quantities are for an adult male? Comes in at 3 litres for the day and about 2.2 litres for a woman. So again, a little bit like looking at the prospect of doing a 5 a day. Spreading it out over the day is manageable. Eating a reasonable amount of dairy products. Now there's been lots of debate about eating dairy products because of the fats that they contain. But they also do contain essential nutrients as well. Very good source of protein, which is important to us, and a wonderful source of calcium. And again, these are things that we need in order to ward off things like osteoporosis. So I suppose the message here in relation to eating dairy products would be in moderation, but perhaps you would look to the low fats, because the fats are something that you don't need in any great quantity. There's something I read there recently in relation to how much cheese you would eat on a daily basis, and the suggestion was a matchbox size. Doesn't seem very big, but that's what the thing recommended. I'm going back there now. Salt. And again, we've been told for a long time to avoid salt. Now, when you talk about avoiding salt, it's not that we need a certain amount of salt. It's something that isn't created inside of us, so it's something that we need to supplement on a regular basis. But the thing is that the amount of salt that we would take in. And I've looked time and time again. It's very hard to get a conclusive figure on how much salt a person should ingest, but generally it's about 2.5 grams per day. The other thing about salt is it's toxic and it's an irritant to the body in large quantities, or in quantities beyond what we can manage. And if you do take lots of salt into your system, the cells then try to wash it through and dilute it, and that can actually lead to water retention for people. So again, just thinking about, like, most foods have salt contained in them without ever going near processed stuff or adding salt in. I'm always amazed. The other thing it does as well is, you see, it deadens the taste buds. And I often wonder why it is that every celebrity chef that you see on TV adds salt to their food. I would have thought that the food itself should be tasty enough, but maybe they have their own reasons for that. And of course, avoiding the sugar rush. Sugar has no nutrients or minerals, to the best of my knowledge. What it will do for us is it will give us a quick burst of energy. Just that quick burst. Depending on how much sugar you're ingesting, it can allow fats to build up on the liver, which isn't very healthy. Also, it can lead to diabetes, particularly I think it's type 2 diabetes, if you're taking lots of sugar. So really, we should be looking more at the slow release sugars in the normal type of foods, like fruit and porridge and grains. And of course, processed foods. I was just talking to somebody the other day, reminiscing back to my past before the age of the supermarket. And there were no processed foods available. I think the only thing I can remember from my childhood that would have been considered processed was fish fingers. That's the only thing I can remember in the shops. Now times have changed, and you can walk down many an aisle and it would be stacked with meals that have been processed.